Hello, everyone. Namaste. Welcome to Light, Laughter, and Lattes. My name is Geri Habstritt. I'm an Avesa quantum healer, medical intuitive, and transformational teacher. And so welcome to Oneness Talk Radio, Oneness Talk Radio Facebook, Oneness Talk Radio YouTube, Anchor, and all the affiliates. I'm so glad you're all here on this illuminated new moon uplevel day. And so what does all this mean? If you are someone who tracks the cycles of the moon, if you're watching this, you probably are, you know that there's certain energies at certain times of the year. And so when there's a full moon, the energy is full, and it's, what are you full of? Whatever you're full of, chances are you'll be feeling a lot of that on a full moon. And that's typically when there's more police out. The kids are often really squirrely during full moons, and the teachers are like, what's going on? And a new moon's a little different. A new moon is this creativity, this newness feeling that is in the air, where you just feel like you want to create or something new is up. And so right now it's an illuminated new moon up level, which means if you are on a path of upliftment, if you're on the path of awakening, lifting consciousness, this is an opportunity to lift up like we've never lifted up before, because this is a peak one, and expand beyond, or everyone's going to be getting that up level. And so what does that mean? I mean, you'll be up leveled wherever you're at, all the way through density. So I suspect that things will get a little crazier in the outer world, in the news or whatever. I don't watch the news, but that's something that's going to happen. Everyone is getting an up level. So this can be incredibly exciting. How are you feeling today? Join in the chat if you are listening. The chat is open on both YouTube and Facebook. So I welcome any comments, any highs, how are you feeling in this great energy? Because truly it's a spectacular day. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to share it with you in this energy. And, are you feeling it? I'm going to give you the ascended numerology for today. So the ascended numerology for today is a 12. Today is a 12th day. Now, if you follow numerology, this is going to be different. This is ascended numerology, which is a completely different system. They use the 0 through the 13. And so today is a 12. And so what does that mean? Well, 12 is typically a number of completion. So as we travel around the spiral, 12 is like a completion number before we go around again. And I want to read to you what the 12 means so you get the full understanding of it. So 12 is called the soul principle. Your soul is calling, and it's time to acknowledge it. This is your moment of recognition. 12 is the ultimate trinity, the union of the two, you, your body, and your soul, into oneness. The moment to release all separation is before you, and divine oneness is here to express through you. Gaze deeply at that which you feel causes separation or anxiety, and release it to your soul principle. Bring everything to this space, and notice how your flow and ease restore gracefully. Let your precious soul lead. It is your time. So that is the energy of today. And typically for me, a 12-day would be, I feel really good. Like I have time to exercise my body. I have time to eat well. Spend time nourishing myself well. I have time to do a little bit of work. I have time to do a little bit for myself. It's like a completion day where it's like everything comes together and you're running on all circuits. Okay, that's typically a 12-day. I'll have one of these really good days and I'll like, it must be a 12-day, and I'll go look at my calendar and it is. So That's today. But yet it's an up-level day. So not only are we like completing an energy, in my sense, it's all the energy that we had at Christmas time, and then the New Year's where we had that blast of light. We had a lot that came forward. So there was a lot of processing, lifting, and now we're kind of anchoring that energy. And at the same time, we're welcoming the new energy of the new moon. It almost feels to me like it's like there's a seed planted in January, and now it's just this tiny little sprout that's coming up that we're just beginning, like the phoenix rising, right? We've got the ashes, and now we're just starting to sprout out just a little bit. So I don't know what your Christmas experience was or New Year's experience. Typically this is a time where we get together with family or we get together with friends. And so I did that as well. I had an opportunity to be with all of that. And, it's always interesting when a mix of energies come together, and especially as a family. And so our family, we got together with our family and plus some boyfriends and girlfriends of my children. So there was, a large number of us. And we decided that we were going to go to Sedona, to some of the sacred sites. And then we were going to go on to the Grand Canyon. And if you've ever taken a trip with a group of people, there's lots of opinions, there's lots of energies, there's lots of ideas, right? So it's truly a time of having to practice your truth, saying, this is good for me, this is not good for me, but yet there's a group, so you have to kind of compromise a little bit within a group, right? And so we all decided to go first to Sedona, and we spent the night in a hotel, and a bunch of us watched a movie, and the movie we watched was called Kingsman. I'd never heard about it before, but it's this group of people that are training to be something called Kingsmen, and they have to go through all of these feats, like jumping out of an airplane, and they thought one of them didn't have a parachute in their backpack. So how are they going to scramble in the air and not to only take care of themselves, but everyone as the group, right? So there was several of these things that they had to do. And in the end of the show, it turns out that everything was an illusion, meaning everyone had a backpack, and all these things that they thought were going to happen that were supposed to be bad, they were all illusions. That they're, the people that had arranged this played out all fake circumstances to see how these people would act under pressure. And the idea of it was for them all to be able to come together, act under pressure, but be able to make decisions that were best for the group. Okay, so that was the gist of it. And so I didn't think anything of it. And our group then the next day headed out to the Grand Canyon, and we had driven, 2.5 hours to get to the gate that was supposed to be open. Well, the gate was shut off. There was no warning beforehand that the gate was going to be closed. And it was about a 4-hour drive maybe to go around to where we knew there was going to be the other entrance open. And at that point, a little bit erupted, exploded. Oh no, what are we going to do? Reactions from the group. Turns out that the group ended up splitting. And so those of us that wanted to continue on were in one car. The other car went the other way. And the group that decided to stay, we were very calm. We were very in flow. We were very open to, what's our other possibility so we don't have to drive 4 hours. And we discovered a side road, talked to someone and said, yep, this will take you right to the Grand Canyon. So we took this back road through the woods, and it ended up being absolutely beautiful. Just incredible drive through the woods, something that we would never had seen had we taken the traditional highway route. And we got there in about 20, 30 minutes. we actually snuck through. We didn't have to pay the fee at the Grand Canyon because this road went right into the Grand Canyon. And we parked our vehicles, and we were looking for the South Rim so we could walk along the South Rim. And none of us really knew where we were going. We didn't really have a map with us. We were kind of just going with the flow. And usually this is when all the magic happens. And we said, well, someone said, let's go this way. Well, it turned out that way was kind of the wrong way, meaning it wasn't along the rim, but we would still eventually get there. So we all kind of followed along, and we found ourselves in a herd of elk. And I mean, several of them, probably 12, 13 of them. They were in front of us, behind us, every side of us. All the cars along the road were stopped, and they were all looking and taking photographs. And we were like right among them, like 6 feet away, taking pictures and walking, and they weren't afraid of us at all. Now, mind you, 3 of us in the group are vegans, vegetarians, which means animals can smell that on you, and they will know. So that could be part of the reason why they were so comfortable with us being there. And, this was so beautiful, because had we taken another route, we would have missed this. This was like a key experience. And so I happened to take a picture. I turned around, I thought, I got to take a selfie right now. And I took a picture of myself, and I had a elk on my right shoulder, and I had a big ray of light on my left shoulder. And thought, wow, I went back and looked up, the meaning of elk, because it's not an accident that we were surrounded by this community of elk. And elk was really about community. It's about support, perseverance, pacing yourself. And these are all characteristics that the elk carry. And, really lovely being in a group, being in a community. And I know many of you out there who are on this path probably are longing for that kind of community, longing for that kind of support, because we've kind of been the ones that are a little bit different than everyone else. We've kind of felt alone. We've been doing the internal work for so many years that we haven't gone out and done a lot in the outer world. And now we're getting ready to bloom and go out. And so to have support and to have community is so important. And then the left was the light on the left shoulder. And so the light to me feels like today, feels like this up-level energy that's getting ready to really send us up and out into the world. And so since I came back, I've had so much support, so much community with me. Typically, this show I've done for the past 2 years, just by myself. Well, now I have a co-host, Patty Peterson. She was with me last week, and now she will be back again in 2 more weeks to do a show herself. And she and I will be kind of sharing the show. Once a month, we'll do a show together. And then we will, take turns hosting the show. And so I found some community in that. I just found a new place to work my business from. And it is a group of 6, 7 other women who are doing similar things to what I'm doing. And then I had someone connect with me and create another group of women who are going to go out and just take photographs of each other for social media and, do some brainstorming about business ideas. And so since that experience of this elk medicine, you could call it, or elk energy, I've had all this experience of this support in community and financial support coming around me. And so I hope you're all feeling that as well. Because really, what the show is about is truth and being in our alignment. And this is the year of truth. It is a 5-year, 2021 is a 5. And so the 5 is all about the truth being revealed. And it's about us feeling comfortable to be who we are and express it. The person that you really are deep inside, you feel comfortable and safe to go out in the world and be it without hiding yourself. And that doesn't mean you have to stand on a podium or be up in front of people and talk about it. It's not that. It's just the comfortableness, with being who you are. Think of a child, right? They say whatever, and they just feel safe to be themselves, especially when they are in a nurturing environment. And fascinating enough, that's kind of what last year was all about. Last year was the first chakra, and it's all about safety. And so there was many people who literally had their first chakra pulled out underneath them, and they did not feel safe. Because if your first chakra is really shaken like that, it disrupts your whole entire body. And for those of us who were able to make it through, see the greater gifts, walk through it, we now have a stronger first chakra. And I like to think of the first chakra as, as a launching pad, right? If you have a really strong foundation, because the first chakra is literally the foundation of our body, you can launch from that. You feel safe. As a child, when you have a strong family setting, you have a strong, stable family unit or place to live, you feel safe to go out. You feel safe to express. You feel safe to do those things because you have that support system. So as adults, we need the same thing. We need to feel that safety to be who we really are. And I know with me reflecting back in the past, few years, where I wasn't totally in my truth, where I didn't completely feel safe to be exactly who I was, I found that when I was around people who had very strong first chakras, I could easily be who I was. I could easily say whatever I felt. I could, break out into song if I wanted to. I could dance around the table if I wanted to, whatever I felt like, I was just comfortable doing it and being it, right? And that's when you're in your truth. And it was when I was around those people that carried that strong first chakra energy that I felt the most comfortable to do that. And so last year, the year of the first chakra, gave us that. And now we're going straight up into the truth, which is our throat chakra, our 5th. It was like the universe said, okay, I gave you this foundation. Now that you feel safe, I want you to expand into your truth, what you really came here to do and be. And so that's this year. And so it resonates with the number 5. And it would be the same thing as like the 5-pointed star, right? So our head is 1, our arms are 2, 3, and our legs 4, 5. The crystal that it resonates with is moonstone. And so it would be lovely to have moonstone around you this year. Traditionally, the chakras would spin orbitally, like in a, you know what I'm saying, like a cyclone or a circle. As you're lifting into the ascended state, they turn into infinity symbols, right? So some of them are just a single infinity, and some of them are actually double infinities that go on top of each other. The throat chakra is a single infinity, and it is the color, like it's a really deep blue. And if you're lifting the heart, which is a green gold, and you're lifting your heart up into the blue, it can kind of have like an aquamarine. So I actually have, I wear this at my throat chakra to assist me with my truth when I'm talking on these live streams, or I'm in an event or a workshop, this will help me say what I really mean to say easily. And then I wear, this is aquamarine, which is kind of got the bluish green color with the gold chain. And I wear that at the throat as well, because that really supports the energy of this year. And it's going to be a really strong, well, I can't even imagine. So people who aren't in their truth are going to have lots of struggles with the throat, lots of struggles with the back of the neck, lots of throat clearing. Probably is going to be a lot of thyroid stuff. The throat regulates the entire respiratory system, so breathing and breath. All of those things are what the throat govern. And so I really want to read to you the energy of this 5 year, what the truth means, the meaning this year in ascended numerology. And so the 5 is the truth revealed. 5 brings forward all energy and situations that have been hidden, yet they may not yet be visible for understanding. It invites you to look deeply at the truths around you and the deceptions. When you see the truth, the star of the 5 will emerge, and the freedom from pain, chaos, and doubt is abundant. And so that's the energy of this year, that 5. And I know when I first was learning this, the truth chakra was originally just called the throat chakra, and more about speaking your truth. Well, it's more than speaking your truth. It's actually being, living, and expressing your truth. And I think everyone thinks, or at least I did, well, of course I'm in my truth. Because from your level of consciousness, you are being true to yourself. You probably are saying what's true. But when you've gone through a massive expansion in healing and opening up the heart, and you get to a new level of being, it's like, wow, I feel more like the me that I was meant to be, that I know that I am, than I ever have. And then you look backwards and you think, wow, I really wasn't totally in my truth. And so, what does it mean? What does it totally mean to be in your truth? So I have, some examples for you. So being in your truth is to be in alignment with what you really know in your heart is true for you. So for an example, I went to visit a friend, and she was watching a show on animals and how this woman could communicate with animals. And she was bringing through all these messages from animals, from horses, you name it. And she was so excited, like, look at these animals have these great gifts. They have these great energies. Look at how they're helping people. And at the same time, she was cooking chicken for dinner. And as she was trying to talk to me, she was clearing her throat and coughing, and she couldn't get her words out. And I didn't say anything, but I was smiling inside, because that was a true example of someone who knew without a doubt that animals have this great gift to offer the world. But at the same time, she was also cooking them and eating them for dinner. And so that's a split in your truth. So sometimes people can literally get a split in their throat chakra. Not sometimes, this happens oftentimes to many, many people. Meaning on one side, they know something's true, but on another side, they're doing something different. So their knowing is different than their actions, and it creates a split. And so let me give you another example. I know someone who knows without a doubt that this 5G technology is not good. It's not good at all, that we're going to need some protection, and it's not a good thing, but yet invested money into it. Not just it, but they create other things besides that. And then it came with a justification. Well, if we don't invest in it, someone else will. So that's another example of, I know this is true on one side, but yet I'm taking a different action on the other side, and it creates the split in the throat. So a good practice around this is to literally take a piece of paper and make it an intention to line yourself up. Like, right at the top of the paper, what I know is true for me is, and just start writing. What I know is true for me is, and how I feel about these things are, and just write. And then go through your life and make sure you're in alignment, right? So if you know eating healthy is good for you, are you doing it? Are your investments in alignment with things that you really care about and stand for? Not because you know that it might make money, but because it's in alignment with you. And if you start making this a practice, you start looking at things, even your Facebook people that you have, are the people that are showing up in your feed, or is it information that you really want to see? And if it's not, maybe you need to, click the button where it says you don't want to see any of those feeds anymore. Because it feels so good when you're completely aligned with everything that you know is true for you. From the moment you walk in the door to where you live, there's everything's around you is supporting you, and there are things that you love. If you have things hanging out on the wall because it's something that someone gave you and you don't love it, then it's not really in alignment with you. You're doing it for the sake of someone else, not yourself. And so that's where you're out of your truth. And so compromising is a huge way to split your truth. It's a huge way. So are you a yes person who is constantly saying yes to other people? And so just so you know, oftentimes when you're saying, if you say yes too much to other people, too much, that means you're saying no to yourself on some level. Now, there's definitely a balance in this. When your cup is full and you have lots of room to say yes to other people, and you're saying yes to things that you want to do, and you're saying yes to things that you love, and you're still taking care of yourself, then you're in your truth. But if you're saying yes to people because you don't know how to say no, then you're out of alignment with your truth. And that's where you have to learn to speak up and to say no. And this can be tough. I know this. There was a period of time in my life where I was going out dancing and I was getting asked out a lot. And I wanted to say no all the time. I didn't find anyone that I wanted to date. And it was so hard for me to muster up that no, that there was even a few times that I didn't go out because I didn't want to put myself in the experience. And the universe will always put someone in front of you until you're clear, till you're very, very clear. So you have to say no, and then you have to be prepared for the universe to say, are you sure? And you'll probably get 4 or 5 more people in front of you until you're so clear on it that you don't get the lesson anymore. But that is a way that many, many, many people, and I'm going to say primarily women, because that's what not necessarily. I know men that do it too. It goes both ways. But I know many, many women who feel like they have to say yes to their children all the time, or yes to helping out with things all the time. And they tend to put everyone else in front of them and put them in the back. And so this is something you're going to want to look at for sure this year, because if you're not, I think your throat will tell you right away. Notice your throat. And our bodies are our truth detectors. Our throats will tell us. If you're in the middle of a conversation and you have to all of a sudden clear your throat, that is a moment where I stop and think, interesting. What is this about? Why am I clearing my throat? Am I swallowing someone else's truth? And that's another thing to take a look at. The throat chakra a healthy throat chakra is a lot about safe boundaries, putting up safe boundaries around us and other people. So we're not swallowing other people's energy, right? So you have to know what's good. How long do you want to listen to someone talk and tell their story? Or how long, I have this experience often with clients where my deadline might be an hour, but they'll want to keep talking about things that have happened and go for an hour and a half. And so at some time I need to stand up and say, okay, our time is up now. And this can be hard to do if you're not used to having these boundaries. Sometimes you have to set boundaries around people and stories. You might have to say, yeah, I don't choose to talk about that. Being in full awareness that you're a creator, especially if someone starts talking to you about subjects that you don't want to add your energy to, you may have to know your boundaries. Do I walk away from this? Or do I just say, I'm sorry, I can't engage in a conversation where I'm not adding energy to something that I don't enjoy? So whatever works with you, but you might have to find your boundaries on that. That is actually something that I had to do this Christmas. There was a lot of talk where I was at about politics and, different things that were going on in the outer world. And I had to make a decision right there that I knew I was going to be in that house for, 10 days. Was I going to want to listen to these conversations and add my energy to something that wasn't good for the planet and humanity and upliftment? So I actually brought my ukulele with me. I brought running shoes with me. And I thought, well, if this happens, I can just leave. And I thought, no, I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to escape. I'm going to share a story. So that's what I did. I walked out into the living room and I shared some of my creation stories in which things that I had focused on manifested almost immediately. And so after sharing the stories, the people that were having this conversation went, whoa, okay, let's change subject. Let's play games. And so that happened to work for me. But that was a moment where I had to really check in with my truth. Do I want to do this all weekend and run and hide from these conversations? Or should I just share some of my stories and see if they work to help change the energy and the atmosphere of what was happening? And for me, it worked to share the stories. Might not work for everyone, but I think people often learn well from a little story of something that's happened to them, as opposed to, you directly teaching them or telling them, keep your focus on what you love. So, some other things you can do, besides the seeing if you're in alignment with everything, and making sure that you're not compromising yourself to keep in balance, keeping the balance of yeses and nos. Are you really saying yes to the things that you want to say yes to? And are you saying no when you really want to say no? These are all great things with our truth. And the breath. So the respiratory system, the breath. It's going to be a big, big breathing year. It's going to be very important to breathe a lot and take some big breaths. And so I would like to do this together. And I don't know if anyone's on right now and listening, but if you are, put your hand on your heart and take a great big breath. This is going to be so important this year, the breathing, the respiration, the breath. Because when we take a big breath, we are saying yes to life. And we are saying yes to joy. And so think about all of those, the asthma not getting the breath, and all the respiratory illnesses not getting enough breath. So we really want to take that breath in. I'm saying yes to life. And I'm saying yes to joy. And that's what a big breath is doing. And so I have a few declarations. And so we're going to start with the breath. And then we're going to repeat the declaration. So our first breath. I follow a clear intention to speak the truth. I follow a clear intention to speak the truth. And we breathe in. And so our second declaration, I have a sense of my own inner voice and personal authority. I have a sense of my own inner voice and personal authority. And so take a breath. And so our third declaration, I adhere to the truth even when it puts me at a disadvantage. I adhere to the truth even when it puts me at a disadvantage. Take a breath. And so that can be a tough one. I adhere to the truth even when it puts me at a disadvantage. And so our fourth declaration, I direct my actions from listening within. I direct my actions from listening within. And take a breath. I direct my actions by listening within. And so our fifth declaration, I respond to my inner voice rather than react emotionally. I respond to my inner voice rather than react emotionally. Take a breath. And so our last declaration, I listen and co-create with the rhythms and messages of the body. So I listen and co-create with the rhythms and the messages of the body. So these are all really, really powerful declarations. And so the one declaration, I respond to my inner voice rather than react emotionally. So that's really the declaration of taking time to respond as opposed to reacting. And it's so easy when there's so much polarity out there, triggered, and there's so much distraction, and there's just so much energy, period, to easily get triggered so that you react as opposed to responding. And so anytime you get something that triggers you, it's good to really back away from it, whether it's a letter you've read or something you read, to back away from it and let the energy of it process through you a bit before you respond. And there's actually a practice called the SAFE practice, which you can use as a reminder when you are in those situations. And the SAFE practice works like this. So something triggers you, okay, trigger, something happened, somebody said something, so you stop. And this can be a hand on the heart or not, but it's a stop. So you just stop whatever you're doing, and that's the S for SAFE. And then the A for SAFE is acknowledge. Okay, you're acknowledging that you've been triggered. Okay, stop, acknowledge, you're noticing that you've been triggered. And then the F is feel. So feel it. How does it make you feel? Right? Just take that moment to acknowledge the feeling of what just happened. And then the E is to expand out of it, to lift into a higher frequency, lift up into a higher dimension if you can, so that you're witnessing it and you're experiencing it from another level. And from that place, you can answer very quickly. You can answer with a response as opposed to a reaction. And in that moment, you are cultivating your truth. You're not just reacting, you're stopping, You're acknowledging, you're feeling, you're expanding. And at that point, you know what's true for you and you can say it. And especially if you can put your hand on your heart, because it's much easier to connect with your truth with your hand on your heart, because that's the true energy we're looking for. And this is a year of really healing the heart. So the more of us that can put our hands in our heart and make that as an okay, to make that as a norm in our everyday conversations and beings, so that it's not some weird thing, you can really, really find what's true to you when you put your hand there and connect. So that's the safe practice, and use it often. That'll help you stay in your truth. Other things you can do. The living Ankh practice, another practice. The living Ankh is what I described earlier about the 5. This is a practice that I would do every single day this year if you can, because this is literally the practice for the year. Because 5 is the 5-pointed star. The living Ankh is literally creating that star with your head, which is 1 point, your arms, 2, 3, your legs, 4, 5. And I'm going to walk you through this practice. So you're going to do it standing up. I'm sitting down right now, but you want to stand up, put your arms to your sides, have your legs just lightly spread out. And then you're going to call forth a white light, a brilliant white light at the bottom of your left foot. So just see, know, feel this brilliant white light spiraling at the bottom of your left foot. And you're doing this standing. And then you're going to call forth a golden light. Now this golden light is spinning, spiraling at the bottom of your right foot. You can feel it now. So you have a white light at the bottom of the left foot. You have a gold light at the bottom of the right foot. And now with your intention, you're going to pull these 2 lights up your legs. So we're pulling them. They're up at your knees, pulling them, pulling them. Now they're up your root chakra. And see the gold and the white just kind of spiral at the root chakra. The 2 of them are intertwined together. And now with the breath, we're going to pull that energy all the way up outer crown. So ready? We're going to pull it up. And we've now pulled the gold and the white light all the way up outer crown. And now we're going to bring our arms way out, way back, head back. And we're going to call in an emerald green light into our heart. That emerald green light's going to come straight into the heart. It's going to mix with the gold and the white. And you're going to breathe it all up and out. And that practice will charge you. It will ignite you. It will give you more energy. It will help move that energy through your throat and through your body. And it's really supported because it's in alignment with this year. So that is the key practice that is going to help you a lot through this year. And if you don't remember it, you can go to actually it's just shriandkira.com, their website. And if you look under their Self-Ascension practices, you will find the living Ankh practice right there. And so I recommend you do that one often, not office. So there's one final thing that I would like to do, because it's such an important day today, this new illuminated new moon uplevel day. I want to do a really quick cards of clarity reading for everyone. And so I'm going to do that right now. And I'm just asking, what is it for those who are going to be listening to this show on this illuminated new moon uplevel day? What is it that they need to know, we collectively need to know for our highest good at this time now? So I'm going to shuffle them. Okay. What is it that we need to know now collectively for our highest good? Okay. And so I'm going to read these for you. And I did something what's called the crown chakra spread. And so in the very first position, it's called the gateway to your higher self. This is the gateway to your higher self. And I don't know if you can see it. There we go. It's the crystalline ray. And it's Ascended Master 6, crystalline ray. And I'm going to read that for you. And so this is the gateway to your higher self. From the time we were born onto this glorious planet, we are ascending in one way or another. Children seek to ascend to become adults. Adults seek to ascend through their success. Yet the true ascension is the recognition that we are already whole, complete, and present to the love and light that we are. You are ascending into that state of being that carries with it great expansion of being. The way you have been living and expressing is rapidly changing. And with this recognition, you are ready to be open to greater truths and greater shifts. Know that you are prepared and that you are also a spiritual leader showing the way for others. All are ascending, each in their own time in their own way. Stay focused upon you and the rest will unfold beautifully. Okay, so that was the gateway to our higher selves. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, number 2. So the message or energy that is seeking integration for you to enter that gateway. So there's a key to entering that gateway. And that is Saint Germain. Ascended Master 1, Saint Germain. And so, yes, you are, and so it is. This is the time of coming out and being seen. Hiding in the shadows does not serve you, nor does it serve those around you. Feel yourself at the top of the highest mountain and declare with power, I am. This is the empowerment of presence and the energy that will unfold your greatest manifestations into form. Let this alchemical transformation come forward with bold love, unabounded and uncluttered. It is time for your life to model this energy in all ways. Sometimes a spring cleaning is best done simply because we know it is time to make room for the new to manifest. Let it be fun. So that is the key. Stepping out and stepping up is the key to getting into that gateway of the crystalline ray. Okay, so our next one, number 3, the primary issue you are now ready to accept with ease and flow. And this is Archangel 13, Regul. Archangel 13, Regul. And I'm going to read for you that. Archangel 13, Regul. Relationships are surrounding you now. You are being asked to gift yourself with the acceptance that peaceful relationships are your birthright. This is the energy of resolution and must begin with you. The relationship that is first to bring you peace is the one with your divine nature in action on this wonderful planet of illusion. You are whole with or without a physical partner, and it's time to fully embrace your oneness. Be at peace with all interactions, and the relationships you desire will follow effortlessly. There's nothing for you to seek, only the gift of rediscovering yourself. And so this one again was the issue you are now ready to accept with ease and flow. So peaceful relationships. And so the last one, number 4, another archangel. And this is Archangel 2, Raphael. And I think we all know Raphael. That was the green emerald energy that we called into our heart. That was gifted to us by Raphael. And now he's back again in the cards of clarity. This is the primary issue you are ready to resolve. Close your eyes and feel the radiance of emerald shining around you. Take this energy into your heart center and know that all is healed. Well, we just did that. This is the reassurance that Archangel Raphael is seeking for you to accept. Healing occurs on many realms beyond just the physical, although this can be. Expand your paradigm of what it is to include the fullness of a healed relationship, a healed experience, and a healed life. Let this gift warm your heart, expand through your body, and radiate to all people with presence and trust. So it looks like we all got a little heart healing, and the relationships are always an aspect when we heal the heart. Most of our heartaches in the world are often around relationships. And with that heart healing and the healing around the relationships, we become more brave and confident to step out into the world and be who we are. And then that brings us into the crystalline light. So that was a beautiful reading for today for this energy. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And so next week, I am going to be interviewing Gabrielle Cousins. And the week after that, Patty will be here with her own show. And so I am so glad you were able to spend this time with me. Thank you for listening to Oneness Talk Radio. And if you are interested in getting your own cards of clarity reading, or your own ascended numerology reading, or your own soul chart reading, or a distant balance, any of those things, look below at my links. You can find me on Wizio, and you can also just go right to my website and find me there. I would be happy to work with any of you. And hi, B, thanks for chiming in. I'm glad that you're listening. So it's great doing this when I know I have an audience out there. So thank you for connecting in. And so find me where you can, and have a fabulous week. Have a fabulous up-level day. Relax and do what you can to take in this energy. Okay, so relax, have fun, and this illuminated energy that's coming in will be able to be more easily processed and assimilated into the body. So have fun today. Namaste.